Good morning, good morning. How's it going, guys? Nice to see you. Nice to have you. 8 a.m. on this beautiful Wednesday morning. Light's starting to come up here in Muskoka, but we're definitely getting those dark days creeping in. And earnings, big earnings coming out, and some have just been released, and we're getting some big moves in the market. So I thought it'd be important to take a look at those markets and show you what's going on here. We're one of the only channels that are actually going to give you a real inside look at what's taking place with these stocks. Most people are not looking at what's really going on, so we're going to show you what's really going on here. And if you've been following us on our Twitter channel and on our Telegram, you'd see some of the videos that I have posted already with analysis with respect to the Magnificent Seven stocks, what was setting up, leading up to earnings. And so we're going to be taking a look at that today. And yeah, I think you'll be quite surprised on what it is that we see. Anyways, welcome again. Hit the like button and subscribe if you haven't subscribed to us yet. We will definitely make it worth your while. And hit the like button, please. I would appreciate that. And let's get started. First, NASDAQ. So I made a post the other day with respect to NASDAQ and the current situation with price. And we were talking about whether or not if the Magnificent Seven stocks came out with really good earnings, whether that would affect the overall NASDAQ index. And as you can see on the weekly chart, we still have that weekly area of supply that we were previously speaking about in play. Okay, so this has not been broken out yet. And I told you we have supply up above and we have demand down below. This is the two obstacles that are keeping price within this range. So one of them has to break. I suspect it's going to be the supply, but until it breaks, it's not broken. Okay, so that is the weekly supply. Let's take it down to the daily chart. So the daily chart also has a supply zone that's been holding price down. This one is nested inside the overall weekly supply zone, okay? But if this one breaks through, then the chances and the odds increase that the overall larger supply on the weekly chart is going to break. And we've had a test here, second test. This is the third test. Look how close it's becoming to breaking it. Look how close, just within pips of breaking it. So it's looking pretty good, and I have a feeling that all the strength of the tech stocks are going to push this through. So just keep an eye on that because I think it's in the process of being taken out. So let's go with Apple now. So what's the circumstances that we have with Apple? Well, if we take a look here, we could see we have an institutional buying zone that came into play back here, okay? We mapped this out. We had it posted for members. We showed them that this is the magic zone that we were watching for. What is a magic zone? Magic zone is that very specific area of buying that we locate as institutional buying. And so when price comes back to those areas, we're expecting them to hold. We could base trades off of them. So in this case, we would be basing a trade off of the zone here with a buy order above and a stop loss below. Because if we're expecting this zone to hold, we do not expect price to drop through that zone. And as you can see, it held perfectly. In fact, they came down for a second test to build up a larger position, and price has been upwards ever since. So larger time frame, monthly, trend is to the upside. Weekly, we had a demand zone removed, but price came right back up, and it's been doing not too much on the daily chart. So, I mean, we have targets here still above at $240, and you know, anything can really happen here. I wouldn't want to be entering into a position from this point here because it could break this ascending trend line here. There's no strong reason why this should be holding. Let me double check something here. Well, Let's see, what's the high of that candle? 237.23, and the high of this one, 237.49. Oh, it just broke. Wow, it did. It did. So guess what? We have demand here, and that's in play. Very good. And then you can see the rally up in price here. So demand, institutional demand is in play on the daily chart. So short-term buying is taking place here. So if you were going to enter, that would have been your entry point, and stop loss would have to be underneath that area. Okay, so that's looking pretty good, Apple. Looking pretty good. Amazon. So Amazon is one that I've had in the portfolio for a bit now. We bought it when it came down into this magic zone here. This was a trade that we gave to members as well. Again, what is the magic zone? Magic zone is that key area that we locate of institutional buying, and we expect price to come down and for them to reaccumulate a larger position from there, causing price to rally. And this is exactly what took place here. And so now we have Amazon gapping up. We close at 190. It's gapping at 195. That takes us into this supply area that we previously saw a drop from. So this is an institutional selling area that we had mapped out. Price rallied up into it, dropped, and now we're coming right back into it. So this is a good sign. This is a good sign. Do I think it's going to drop again? Maybe a slight move to the downside, but I think overall this is going to be removed. This is the obstacle that needs to be removed. And I mentioned this before. Once this obstacle is removed, there's no stopping how high price can go. So this is looking pretty good for a continued move higher on Amazon, okay? So Google came out with earnings. And so I made a post about this. This is the interesting thing with Google. So here we go again. We had an institutional zone here that we located. This was an institutional buying zone. This is where we located big money coming in and buying Google. So they bought here between the 136s and 148s, causing price to rally up here. Then they stop buying. They start selling. And that brings price right back to that buying zone where they're interested in buying again. And then it starts to rally right before the massive earnings release, okay? I mean, it's a beautiful setup, okay? A beautiful setup, because let's take a look at the weekly chart. So if you remember, I was telling you that they were buying from down here, okay? But we also had a selling area here. Remember, selling has to take place in order to drop price into larger time frame buying zones. All right. So when it comes into those larger time frame buying zones and they start buying, guess what that key indicator is for a move to the upside? It's when those selling zones get taken out. So I made a note here that this selling area was taken out by 1 pip. That means it was open. The chart was open for a move higher. Okay. They started buying from a higher time frame demand. They removed the medium term supply, opening up the chart for a move higher. And if we take a look at the daily time frame, you can see it clearly right here is when it took out the zone. All right, they took it out. Where did they retrace price? To an institutional buying area that we located on the chart. This was short-term buying. Remember, larger time frame buying here, followed up with short-term buying here to contact a medium-term selling area here to eventually remove the selling area, retrace back to the short-term buying area to continue the buying to take price here. Okay, so buying to take price here. All in lead up to what? Good earnings, which now takes price up to 182. So you see the coordinated efforts here, okay? This rally and the buying that was taking place beforehand, this is not random, okay? The price is controlled by big institutional buying and selling. It's not small guys that are controlling price. It's the big institutions that are controlling price. And we can locate where they are buying, okay? So we can track exactly what they're doing, which makes it very easy to really learn the market and understand what's really happening in the market. When you can see what they're doing then you have an understanding of what's taking place, right? If you're just looking for candlestick patterns and drawing support and resistance lines, you're not really understanding what's going on with price. When you track the buying and selling by the big institutions, who are the ones that control price and move price, then you start to see what's going on with price. Okay, Meta. So let's quickly look at Meta, and so that's gapping up, right? We had a big push to the upside here on the monthly chart, so very strong long term, and not just that, but look on the daily chart, or sorry, on the weekly chart. Look what we had. We had an upward trend. And we had institutional demand. This is institutional buying here between the 550s and 570s. Price rallies away from it, comes back, and start the buying again. Okay? Same thing. It's the same thing. So they start the buying, and now look where price is, 605. The buying was at 577. Okay? And now we're at 605. All right? We've got earnings coming out after hours tonight. So what do you think is going to happen? Well, the banks are buying, big time buying, taking place off of a medium-term buying zone. What do you think is going to happen? I mean, take a guess, right? Microsoft. So this one's gapping up as well. What's the latest area that was contacted? Short-term buying zone here. Buying. Where's my, what's my note say here on the daily chart? Very important. Very important, okay? Very important, because as price plays out in the near future, you're going to end up seeing the importance of this zone. This zone needs to be removed for more upside. And we're creeping up towards there, right towards supply. So something's going to happen. This zone's going to be removed, and then there's going to be a retracement of some sort, and then we'll see price jet to the upside. All right, Nvidia. Free and clear. Remember we located this buying zone, and I pointed out to you in the videos that we were doing? You remember that? That was at $90. We're at 141 bucks right now. Okay? Like, I mean, it's just crazy how accurate you can get with the supply and demand analysis. So the institutions were buying there at 90 bucks. And then remember, we had supply here. Right here. This is big institutional buying here, which caused price to go up to a selling area. Then price reacts from the selling area to the downside, stops, starts heading back up again. And what do they create? They create a buying zone, remove selling, and now we're pausing near the highs. So the supply that would have caused any type of stalling pressure has now been removed. So there's nothing to stop price from going even higher. All right. So we'll be watching this one closely. I really like this setup. This looks good for a continued move to the upside. I don't see any reason why it wouldn't. Okay. Last but not least, Tesla. Tesla, the situation, I told you about this before. We have supply that's been holding price down for quite some time. We have demand that was here, holding price to the upside, and it's been back and forth, okay? Long term, you want to see a move to the upside. What has to happen is this area of supply needs to be taken out. If that gets taken out, then it's clear sailing for a move to the upside. But unless that happens, I would not be looking for a long position on Tesla. Okay, folks, that's it. I hope that was helpful to you. And yeah, thanks for joining me today. Again, hit the like button if you did appreciate the analysis that we did for you today. And keep following us on our X channel and on our Telegram. We'd love to have you join in with us and learn more of how we do our analysis. All right, that's it, guys. Enjoy your day. Take care.